It has been a real minute. Welcome back to the Breaking Barriers podcast. Today we got on Frederick Gilbert. And Fred, so just tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. Thank you for having me here. Humbled to be on this platform with you guys. I'll start off with born and raised in Buffalo, New York, in this neighborhood. Zip code 14208. Grew up not too long away from here, 5 minutes away, right over there on Northland Avenue, 285 Northland Ave, and then 281 Northland Ave. And this has been a neighborhood that I've been developed in. I've done a lot of stuff in this neighborhood, a lot of things, a lot of trouble, a lot of achievements, but was able to make it out. And it's a pleasure to come back in. Career rise, education. I'm a product of the public education system. Went to School 74, which is Hamlet Park. And then high school career, went to McKinley High School for aquatic ecology. And there's a story I got with high school because originally I wasn't supposed to go to McKinley. I applied to go to... When you applied, what school did you go to?
I went to Turner, and I was supposed to go to McKinley.
So the thought is that when you apply to high school, what's the high school that they told you to put first or on there?
For me, it was Tech originally.
For us, it was Tech, right? Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to go to Tech, but I put Tech down. I wanted to go to Performing Arts. Performing Arts ended up doing me dirty, but that's a whole different story. So I went to McKinley. It was either McKinley or Bennett. And Bennett was my district school, and at that time, Bennett was definitely not the school to go to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You had to have a certain persona, a certain identity to go to Bennett and stuff like that, and I just wasn't built like that. It wasn't my life. So I was like, all right, you know what? I can't do this. So went to McKinley. There was an open spot at McKinley. I wanted to go for advertising art. That didn't work out, so I ended up going for aquatic ecology. For me, that was an opportunity to not go to any other school, so I took that. Graduated in 2000, went to Buffalo State. Went to Buffalo State College, got my credentials there. It took me 8 years to get my undergraduate degree. A lot of different circumstances.
I was about to say, there's nowhere in the world you can gloss over that right there. We need to know 8 years. Whoa.
Yeah. 8 years, man. Eight years, and first 2 years of college, didn't really take it seriously. Mm-hmm. My first year in college, actually my first semester, I ended up having a 1.0 cumulative GPA. And when I saw that, first of all, that was when they mailed your grades to your house. You didn't have anything like banner or anything
your parents
like
saw
that.
That one.
Mom saw that, and Mom was like, what we doing? I ain't sending you to school for this. And, had a real life conversation then. And I think within 2 semesters, I changed it around. I ended up getting I had a 4.0 the next semester, but that doesn't really do much, in terms of pulling the GPA up. You gotta repeat a lot of classes that you failed and stuff. So I had to do that. Ended up by the end of my first year, ended up getting my GPA to I think a 2.7, and then sophomore year or my second year, first semester, I ended up getting a 3.5 and stuff like that. So I kind of was cruising since. And then engagement happened. Then the yard came. And then all these kind of things. I joined a fraternity. I am a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And that shifted a lot because, the focus went from scholarship and academics and not really knowing a lot of people like that because I was a commuter. I didn't live on campus.
I was the same way you be.
So I didn't really being involved or investing on campus wasn't really a thing for me because I had like 2 jobs, 3 jobs at the time. Exactly. So I was like, I ain't got time for none of that. Oh, but when I became the Bruz, I had a lot of time because there was a lot of things thrown at you. And, sometimes you just had no choice but to catch it, and had a lot of fun. A lot of different experiences, a lot of parties, a lot of people, but lost focus. Not academically, because it's funny, when I became a member of this fraternity, my GPA went up. But the problem was that I didn't know how to pay for college.
Gotcha.
So, you had your tap and Pell and stuff like that and loans, but it still wasn't enough to cover a lot of the expenses. So I ended up taking a leave. I ended up being gone. I thought I'd be gone for a semester. It ended up turning into 2 years.
So it was a financial time out in there.
Yeah, it was.
Gotcha. Okay.
And not only that, it was an additional year because, like most folks who worked in Buffalo at a time, collections was the job to do. And for you to be young, you make good money, being in collections. On the phone, listen. But the crazy thing about working in collections as a young man is that you are surrounded by folks who are hustlers, and they get that money, and I'm in here driving a '94 Dodge Spirit, burgundy in color and stuff, and then after I got that job, I ended up upgrading to my first international car. I ended up getting an Acura. I thought I was the man. I was like, yo, all of this? Okay, fine. So I ended up working in that industry for a couple years, and then here comes my mother. Here I am, a grown man with an Acura, but I'm still in my mama's house with no degree, right? And she was just like, okay, what we doing? My mom has a way in which to bring you back. She'll let you have your fun, but then okay, so what we doing? You have this balance and you got all this money, what we doing? Right? So kind of put me back into alignment with finishing the job. So, so I ended up going back, ended up getting my balance paid by the lovely Florence Johnson, who was the director for a program that was formerly known as the Student Support Services Program at Buffalo State. You were either EOP, which I work for, which is the Educational Opportunity Program, or you were a part of Student Support Services Program. And this predates Say Yes and all that stuff. So, which I wish I had, Lord. But I'll never forget, my mother ended up having a meeting with Florence Johnson about me and about a couple stacks that I owed, and over time, when the collections and interest starts to accumulate, and next thing you know, student loans are calling you up because you're not in school. So they're like, hold on, wait a minute. So Florence Johnson looked at me. She said, do you want to finish? I said, yes. She was like, do you have the right attitude to finish? I said, yeah. I was like, I'm doing good in school. She was like, that's not what I asked you. Do you have the right attitude to finish? I was like, yes. She was like, okay. She gave me her credit card. She's like, go there and pay this bill off. What? She's like, go there, pay this bill off. You don't owe me nothing. Just finish. Talk about put pressure. So, 2 years later, I go back. I'm an education major. And I go into my program. I start student teaching. I student taught at Campus West, which is no longer there. Campus West was a middle school, elementary and middle school that used to be on Buffalo State's campus. And I student taught there and completed my degree in 2008. And I think that degree is probably the most valued out of all of my credentials because it took me so long and I had to get in a correct mindset to really finish, because I'm not a person that starts something and doesn't finish, and my mother knew that, but she had to speak that out of me, and Then I'll never forget, in 2008, when I graduated, I parked my 94, I parked my car, and I took a long walk from Rockwell to Houston Gym, where commencement is. And as I was walking, I just looked around at the buildings. I looked at my peers walking to graduation, and I said, you know what? I was like, this is a great thing, like being on a campus. Like, I like this feeling of being on a campus, you know? And so the idea of working on a college campus came. But I didn't jump the gun, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up working for a couple years. I was at the Boys and Girls Club with this gentleman right here, this scholar, right? And I still say that that's probably the best job I ever had, because that job is definitely a job for the helper, someone who has a big heart. It's a caring profession. Mm-hmm. Doesn't pay much, but the benefits of raising up the youth is all-time fulfilling.
You know, most of the time when you're working with young people, you don't get paid your worth. That's not where the reward is, really.
Right. It's not. You can't go into a profession like that expecting to make millions. It's not going down at all. So, like, and you have to know that, and you have to be confident and comfortable with that.
Believe me, I know. Boys and Girls Club, CAO.
So we already know. We already know. So, but after working there for a couple years, the Boys and Girls Club, this idea of going back to school for my master's came in. And I remember I had an interview, because you have to apply, and at that time, standardized tests were a thing. And I was really intimidated by standardized tests. For those of you who don't like the GREs and GMATs and all that stuff, like high school SATs and stuff, I still don't remember what I got on an SAT. I don't even remember how I got into college, honestly. I ended up just getting a phone call like, hey, you want to come? Okay, sure. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because I applied to, going back, I applied when I first had the idea of college. I applied for Hampton University, Howard University, you know, all, because I went to all the college tours.
HBCU tours, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yes. But I was intimidated to leave Buffalo. I was scared. Mm-hmm. You know, because going from Buffalo, from what you know, into an environment that you don't know, you're uncomfortable. I wasn't ready for that discomfort yet. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay. Then I thought about going into the military. Then I thought about my father and was like, nah, I ain't doing that. So, because my father, he's a Vietnam veteran. He's a Navy man, stuff like that. So, but pretty messed him up. So, but going back to the idea of my master's and going back to college. So I applied, ended up going to my interview with the former chair of the department. His name is Dr. Gallino, and it was just him. I thought I was going to be, you know, in an interview with a bunch of scholars, and they was going to intimidate me and tell me I'm no good and stuff. And there's this middle-aged white man that looks at me and says, you are exactly what we need here, you know. And I was like, okay, all right, so is that a yes? He was like, you'll hear from me. So I think that next day I ended up getting accepted into the Higher Education Administration Student Affairs program at Buffalo State. And I was the only one out of the 3 black males that graduated in that class. And maybe 10, not even, maybe like 7 black and brown people graduated from that degree. And that degree, in that industry, it's a highly female-driven industry. Education, college, all that stuff is heavily female-driven, you know. And so that was quite an accomplishment, but I learned so much from my female counterparts. It was an exciting time. I think at that moment, that's when I knew that higher education would play a major part and you know, my career. And that's when I kind of knew that I wanted to work on a college campus. Fast forward to the present. Currently now I work still at Buffalo State as a counselor for the Educational Opportunity Program, which is EOP. EOP, we all we got, you know. And I've been working there since 2016. Prior to, I worked for Residence Life as a complex director, and I hated it. I loved the opportunity because I had opportunity to interface with the youth and interface with students, and but I hated the job. I hated being a grown man living on campus. Hated it. I can't stand it. Just wasn't my forte. Just wasn't what I needed. But I gained experiences, ended up becoming an EOP counselor, been doing that since. And now I'm at the point in my life where I want to go higher. So now it's about drinking deeply in the Perion Springs, meaning to intensify your knowledge. So I definitely want to go back for my doctorate degree. And I already know the place and the name, and so I want to go to UB and acquire and earn my degree.
You finally woke up. Okay.
Word. Okay. Well, I mean, it was either that or I was going to do a hybrid program at a HBCU. I was going to do that, but of course, I have to go to the brighter side of things.
But there you go. I mean, UB.
Okay.
Bull over here.
Yeah, but I mean, Buffalo State's the People's College.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I still don't know how I feel about you EOP people. I wasn't eligible for EOP.
When I went to college, I wasn't EOP either.
I know, but you worked in EOP.
I worked there now. I'm honorary. I'm good.
Wait, can you explain EOP?
Yeah. So the Educational Opportunity Program is an admission-based program which was founded in 1967 by Assembly Council member Arthur O. Eve. Mm-hmm. And it was modeled after the Percy Hutton Seek program in New York City, where they provided opportunities for students who had the potential in going into college, but really wouldn't be admitted into college as a general student. So EOP is like the vehicle to get students into college. And when I say admission-based, because there's criteria, so there's things in terms of like your financial situation, and not only that, but like the grade. So like if you were an astute student that was like 90 and better, EOP would be like, well, you don't need us.
Yeah.
Because you don't need us.
I was rejected.
Quite a few perks that come from being an EOP student.
You don't need us, But if you were in that 70 range, 80 range, then EOP will work with you, And of course, there's a financial component too. Like if you made a certain amount of money, or if you exceeded a certain amount of money, then you couldn't get it either. But the biggest misconception about EOP is that we give money, or that we're a financial institution, and that's not the case. Like we provide a grant that helps to pay a small portion of your tuition, but we're not a financial institution that just gives money. Like that just So those are one of the perks you were talking about or thinking about.
No, just perks. It just seems like the EOP kids always got like extra help and extra.
EOP does have its perks,
and
right?
Then it became a thing where it's kind of like you got the EOP kids, you got the other kids on campus. And most of the time, EOP students are students of color.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh, they EOP over there, and you just.
You just over there.
Yeah.
When I was an undergrad, that's how it was. I had a whole group of friends that were EOP. But where you going? I gotta go see my EOP counselor. What's that? Who's a EOP counselor? What is that? What's funny is that I didn't want. So everybody, when you go to college, everybody has an advisor or an academic advisor and stuff. When I graduated from my undergrad, my bachelor's degree, it wasn't until the day of commencement I met my undergrad advisor.
That's insane. You need to be taking notes.
8 years.
Right now. I need you to make sure.
8 years. Never knew who my academic advisor. I navigated through college by myself. By my lonesome.
I mean, we're gonna keep it 100. Most students do, even though they have.
But that's why I'm sitting in the seat and I'm telling students, you ain't got to do that. You don't have to do that. Where you going to college?
University at Albany.
I got some folks at U of Albany. I sure do. Some folks that would make you very happy. EOP is there. I have, matter of fact, one of my former students who graduated from Buffalo State, she has received her master's degree from the University of Albany. Her name is Gael. Shout out to you, baby. She was, on her undergrad, she was the United Student Government president for Buffalo State. And a very high-profile student. She ended up going to University of Albany. She's actually getting a dual degree, one at University of Albany and one at Florida State. So, and that's a hybrid program. So she's doing tremendous things, and I could connect you with her. She'll tell you, she'll give you the gritty about University of Albany.
Please do that.
She'll give you the gritty. She'll give you what you need to know.
And while we're talking about graduates, right? So I know, someone for your family just recently graduated. Over the
that big head boy back there.
Yes, congrats to Charles over there.
Yes, the brother of them. Yes, my brother has graduated with his bachelor's degree, and that's a story in itself. He's honestly, when I went to his graduation and I sat there and I was watching him graduate or walk the stage and just embracing the moment. That's when I knew. I was like, I gotta go back for my doctorate.
I felt the same way when I watched my sister graduate a couple of years ago.
But because when I brought that up, my wife, she was like, "Oh, so you had to, you said the same thing when you went to your friend's graduation and he was getting his master's. And he was like, I gotta go back for my master's." And I was like, "Nah, but this one's different. This is personal. This one's personal for me, because you ever feel as if like there is something like you're destined or entitled for something, right? But you just got to make the first move. That's how I felt. I was like, I just got to make that move.
Oh, for me, it's solely competition. It's like I got to one up you now.
Nah,
I got to one up.
Trust. I graduated with my master's in 2014. And now I'm talking about, I've been battling going back for my PhD for the past 5 years. Yeah. And everybody's been just like, "Yo, you should go back. I'm like, I don't want to do no work. I'm sorry. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm civilized. I got a job. I'm okay.
We are in the exact same boat.
Yes.
That's exactly where I'm at. I'm just like,
good. I'm all right.
And then when I think about how much it's going to cost, I'm like, I don't know.
And that's another thing, right? I always said, I was like, I'm not going back unless you pay for it. Because I'm already in like debt with student loans, you know what I'm saying? So there's no point in increasing it, So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Becoming financially savvy. Because as an undergrad, don't think you can't have other people pay for your books, because they can. You know what I'm saying? So it's about strategizing how to financially execute your time and your tenure in undergrad. So, like, of course, you got your tap and pell, of course, loans.
I feel like you about to drop gems real quick. Before you drop the gems, we gotta shout out Dorian, because he gonna feel left out if we don't do it.
Yes.
Dorian just graduated over the weekend too with his bachelor's. So Dorian, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I graduated Saturday, about 2 days ago, with a bachelor's of science in animal behavior, ecology, and conservation with a minor in philosophy from Canisius College.
You do not find that kind of degree with people of color, and I have to give you props on that, because I'm just like, what in the who and the what?
Yeah, there's probably like 4 of us in our class. I don't know.
That is dope. That's dope, brother. That's dope. I give you flowers on that one, because not everybody does that. Like, you hear. So is that like in the veterinarian type of situation, or?
That's what I went to Canisius for, really, but it's more of using behavior and the environment and animal-related issues and the education around the behavior and ecology and conservation to like improve their well-being, welfare, environmental condition, and the way they interact with the environment and all that stuff. So,
ideally, you will be the brother that will be working or running the Tiff Farms area. You ever went to Tiff Farms when you was a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you will be running that environment right there. You'll be making sure that the turtles, the environment is pretty well kept, and making sure everybody, like the ecology of it. This is aquatic ecology is coming out.
Oh boy, here we
aquatic
go.
ecology is coming out now. So you're just making sure the climate, the space, everything is all coherent and cohesive, and making sure like the blue herrings have a space over here, and
checks and balances, ecosystem, food chain, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, making sure that things are suitable.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I was about to ask you. So, What kind of job you get with that degree, sir?
So like wildlife, like park rangers. You know, those aren't right. You know, those guys go around monitoring the parks and making sure.
To be Ranger Bob over here?
No, not
He's
Ranger
about to
Bob.
be Ace Ventura. He's about to be
You
like
about to go
detective.
Laboratory science, like studying animals and their behaviors in laboratory, and how they react to some cases medicine or experiments.
Are you trying to stay in that? Are you trying to stay in Buffalo?
To be determined.
With a job like that or with a specialty like that, I don't foresee you being in Buffalo.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
Not here.
I know you didn't go to school at Canisius for 4 years to go chase around Boo Boo and Yogi.
No.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you on that, man. That is, yeah. I don't know anybody with that type of expertise.
Yeah, different breed.
Yes,
Different breed.
well, he's always been, but different is good.
It is.
Different is good.
So you are about to start dropping some gems.
Oh, man, yeah.
Give Xavier 5, as well as there's a lot of other young men that are in the same boat that are about to graduate and
ask your questions, brother. Ask your questions.
No, I've been told about unsubsidized loans and subsidized loans.
Yep. So one loan accumulates interest the day you sign the promissory note. The other one, right, accumulates after you graduate, or at least 6 months to a year prior to graduation.
Hold on. So you use the term in there. I got to make sure people understand.
Yeah.
You said promissory note.
So that's
What's
the
that?
kind. So anytime. So with the subsidized and unsubsidized loans, that comes with you applying for FAFSA. They give you the opportunity to not only take your TAP and to take your Pell, because the Pell is a federal grant. TAP is the state grant that's offered by New York State. But with the federal grants, they also offer you the loans that come with them. Loans are optional. They are not mandatory.
Optional.
They're optional, right? So if there's a need and you ain't got no other way, then yeah.
Optional. Meaning you don't have to take it.
Not have to take the loan.
And if you take it and you get a refund, you got to pay that money back. We ain't going to talk about the refund checks.
I didn't have some fun with those, but okay. Well, yeah, that's in my ignorant stage. But the promissory note is pretty much the contract that you sign. You sign your life away, right? When you come to the loan. So there's loan counseling. It's pretty much an online module where you just click. Nobody reads the agreements. Nobody reads the context of it. You just click and click until you get to, okay, sign a date. And then next thing you know, that money is transported into your student bill. So here's another thing that you need to know. You need to know what a student bill is and what it consists of, okay? Because some people think that the student bill is just that, but it's a fraction, or your bill is broken up into several parts. So there's your tuition. Tuition is the classes that you pay for.
All right.
Then there's your housing. Housing is the most expense that you're going to pay for, right? Because if you were a local resident of Albany, you would probably have the option of not living on campus, and they'll make your bill substantially cheaper. Ask my brother. My brother didn't stay on campus. His bill was very short. Okay. And then you have your meal plans, right? I don't know if your meal plans are required or if they're mandatory.
I think it is mandatory.
Okay. Right. So your meal plan and your housing is like the two big expenses. Then you got like all these other tertiary fees that you got to pay for, all encompassing up into a grand total of, I don't know what Albany's.
Oh, well, right now my bill, my net cost I got to pay is $14,000.
A year?
That's per semester.
Oh, no, that's per year.
That's per year? Oh no, you ain't get there yet. No. So no, because the thing is that, so at Buffalo State, right? Buffalo State on an average per semester for anybody that is living on campus is roughly between $11,000 to $12,000 per semester. Per semester. You're going to the University of Albany. I am pretty sure that bill is gonna go up somewhere, sometime.
You look into that, X-Man, and then we're not even talking about books yet.
No. So, I am I'm an advocate for the paperless, the digital books. If you can buy books online and stuff like that, or iPads and, do that, that's fine. Utilize your library. Nobody utilizes libraries no more. Libraries have copies of these textbooks that you'll probably need, right? So let's say you run into a financial pinch and you don't have any more money for books. There's 3 things potentially you could do. 1, borrow it from a friend. More than likely, friends don't read the book, so you could borrow it. You be like, yeah, here, you just take the book, or go online and get a digital copy of it. And there's so many different ways in which people can get digital stuff, right? Yeah. And
leave that alone.
Yeah. And the 4th one is you can always go to the library.
All right.
Or the 3rd one, you can always go to the library. Library have copies of books. And more than likely, the reason why they have copies is because the teacher provides the library with copies of the book.
Sometimes you might get lucky and they don't switch the book from semester to semester, but oftentimes they change up the books.
Yeah. So,
or they write their own book and you got to go buy it because that's how the professors make money.
Yeah. So, but that's how your bill is accumulated like that, and that's not including, expenses for books. Now, let's say like if you were one of the very few that ended up getting a refund, you can qualify for what is called as a book deferment. The book deferment comes from your student bill. You can end up taking a certain amount of monies that you might have from your refund and apply it towards purchasing books. That's something that a lot of students, EOP does. Like we'll encourage students, hey, if you got a refund, go over here, do this.
Remember I was talking about perks? I never heard that before when I was in school.
Oh, yeah?
Never knew about that.
Yeah,
EOP kids got to know that little tidbit of information.
Oh, God. Okay.
I'm just saying. I never knew I could defer. I wouldn't have blew that refund check like that if I knew I just.
I was I was young and dumb,
Privileged.
and I listen.
Privileged.
I never forget when I had my first, refund. Boy, oh boy, that thing was gone, and man, that thing probably was gone.
Yeah, you probably went through some rims on that Acura, but
I mean, everybody wanted to be a little fly. Everybody wanted to be a little fly, a little splurge here and there.
yeah, when we was going to college, a little bit different than y'all going to college.
Yeah, very much so. Very different. Very different. I think what one of the major differences in college today is the fact that the personality of the students coming in is very different.
You feel entitled to everything.
Do you think so? You think it's entitlement?
I think when we talk about young people in this generation of young people,
Well, think of this brother right here.
no, he's different.
Okay. Okay.
Not entitlement with this one. No, not at all.
Okay. We was about to start this prior to we was about to talk about the profile of the students that are coming in. I find a lot of students are more introverted now. Especially due to the pandemic, because when the pandemic happened, a lot of people escaped behind a screen. And you realize that like the majority of the people that are out there, that's how they communicate through a screen. But you put them in person, exactly, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like if somebody were to go on a date and they're at a table and they're about to eat dinner, but they don't communicate with each other. They're just on the phone.
We see it all the time. I guarantee you go out to any restaurant, right? You see a family and everybody on their phone like this waiting for their food to get there.
Like the element of communication is gone. Yeah. You're having a lot of that coming into college. Yeah. Less engagement, right? More privacy, more into this, more into Tweedle thumbs, the Twitter, all of that.
With the fingers.
Yes, you're getting a lot more of that and less engagement. You got to pull students to like really want to, be involved in something, try something, talk to somebody. Right?
What are y'all thoughts on that? Because you're about to go into college. You just finished up. So what are your thoughts on that in regards to you?
Two different perspectives.
I mean, like on just like interacting with people, basically.
Yeah.
Like going into, amount of work I do in the community, like right now, like I'm already an like engaging person. I like to give me the I call myself a introverted extrovert. I like to be like keep to myself, but if the time like calls where I need to be like engage with people, I have no problem.
So you have an on and off switch. You know how to turn it on, know how to turn it off.
Basically.
Well, I asked that in about another year. Because that off and on switch, I don't know, you might not be able to control that, you know. But only because of the fact that the University of Albany has a very strong social capital.
Yeah, it is like almost as big as not too big, but still very large.
Oh, he hasn't even told you why he's going there though.
Why are you going there?
Oh, it is. Since I want to get into politics, that's a perfect area to be in with the Capitol being there. And I was going to do political science, but I probably want to switch to urban studies and planning. Okay, and that's more broad and it covers politics as well.
Sound like you really know what you want to do.
Yep.
The only thing I got to tell you is just be like this. Be focused.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying no, because college, the idea of college has become more of the experience and you developing and learning who you are as a person. Identity is real.
Yeah.
But developing the course of that identity, right? You go through a lot of stuff and you meet a lot of people, right? And you meeting a lot of people, there's a lot of things that you might do you never thought you would do. With people you never thought you would associate with, right?
Yeah.
But that's a part of the development. That's why I love my job at EOP. Because you get to see the process, start to finish, right? For an example, I had two twins that just graduated, Julia and Juliet. And when they two girls from the Bronx, when they first got here, all they had was each other. That's it. They didn't want to talk to nobody. They traveled with each other. They still dressed the same, right? Fast forward 4 years later, they know the entire campus.
Dang.
The entire campus knows them. They served in seats with the assembly. They were in positions with student-driven organizations. One joined a sorority. You know, but in between all of that and those different achievements, they met so many different people, and there were so many different struggles, so many different challenges. And they were able to persevere from these challenges, right? Why? Not only because of their persistence and them being these dynamic women, but they also had a space where they can come back to. That's why, like, when you go to SUNY Albany, you have to have a support. You have to have, whether it's EOP or any other type of supports, you need someone, because you're a fool to think that you can do college by myself. I know I made the statement like I navigated through it by myself, but also prior to that, there was Florence Johnson that helped me with the student support services. So I did have a support. It was very minimum, but that was just enough to get me over the hump. But you don't have to make it difficult. You know what I'm saying? From day one, you need to start developing a roster of people that you know for a fact that's going to get you to that political platform you want to be at. You know, you need to start day one meeting your professors that's within the department in which you're studying. You need to, set up appointments with the dean of your department. You know, you want to
build those relationships on campus.
Build rapport and relationships on campus, because I was just talking about, we just had a meeting with this, about this with all my other EOP counselors, because we're teaching in the fall and we're trying to develop a curriculum. And one of the things that we wanted to talk about is just how students lack the skill set of creating relationships. That's so important.
It's key. It's crucial.
It's so important, especially if you're trying to come this way. Because I tell students all the time, I don't promote college. I promote opportunity. College ain't for everybody. Even if you could be a sophomore and you think college is for you, but if you can't tell me any goals, or if you can't tell me after your time and your experiences in college that you still don't have any, okay, then this might not be for you. Maybe college is a roadblock. Maybe college is a safe haven. because you're running from what your true purpose might be. You know what I'm saying? So, but for you, you're going to need college. If you're talking about politics, and you're going to need a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
And you said the P word, so that's why it's important for young people, especially the sooner that they can find out what their purpose is.
Yeah.
It's going to help them kind of just
man.
fast forward.
Yeah.
Just get on track and get to where it is they truly want to go.
Yeah.
So you talked about supports, and you and I, we both know how important it is to have supports on campuses for students. But I think a lot of times our students don't always take advantage of those supports on campus.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I feel like that is because they don't necessarily always see people that look like them in those supporting roles. So you kind of talk about, why it's so important to have equal, representation on campus for students.
Yeah. So when I got on campus, I'll start from day one when I got my first job on campus. When I got my first job on campus as a complex director working a residence life within Buffalo State, it not only was it a platform for me to navigate through students and to build up my portfolio as a working professional, but it was another person that looked like them that they can have some empathy with and some compassion, some shared experiences, and build off of that and build futures with. So the first student that I met, I'm about to make him laugh, was this young lady named Nikita. And Nikita was a rough stone, man. Rough stone. And one of the duties of a resident or a complex director was that I had to perform conduct processes. So like if there was any sort of infractions or anything in the residence halls or anything like that, they had to sit before me and I had to, do due process with them. Here comes Nikita. Nikita walks in there and Nikita is not in her right mind and stuff like that, and I had to, and when we record the hearings and stuff like that.
Talking crazy.
Listen, I had to turn off I was like, hold on, let me turn off the camera. Let me pause this hearing. And I had to give her some act right. I had to like, yo, what are you doing? Why are you acting like? She was like, what do you mean? I was like, yo, listen. I was like, let me do you a favor. If you're not going to take this seriously, right? If you're not going to take this hearing seriously, because this is a serious situation, if you're not going to take it serious, you already made a choice to go home. That's only half the battle. So why don't I look for a bus ticket for you so you can get your butt on a bus and you can go back home and stop wasting our time here. Stop wasting your time. She was like, excuse me? I said, stop wasting my time and your time. Go home. Go home. Like you wasting space. You're wasting space right now. Right? She got mad, stormed out the office. The very next day, I seen her in the student union, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah. She's like, no one's ever talked to me like that. She's like, not even my daddy talks to me like that. She was like, who are you? I was like, I'm the person that's going to probably save your life if you listen. If you listen. And from there, that conversation led to 3 hours of just building. Mm-hmm. Because she's never had someone
check her like that.
Not only check her, but someone that looks like her, right? Yeah. And a man, not disrespecting her, not demeaning her, not calling her out in her name or anything like that, but someone who actually looked at her and saw potential and saw someone who cared for her in that moment. And we built a relationship, and now she's a success story. She works for Warner Brothers. She's out in LA. She has her own crib in the hills. I'm just like, she always goes back to these conversations that we had, right? Mm-hmm. So it's important that when you go to campus, right, that you find folks, professionals, right, that want to invest in you. All right. Because what you're going to find is that there's not a lot of people that look like you that serve in these positions, whether they're faculty or they're professional staff members. It's not too many of them. Right? But there is someone who is going to see that light in you and they're going to want to manifest it. They're going to want it to grow and they're going to challenge you. That's called a mentor. They're going to challenge you. When
I knew that's where you was going.
I didn't have a mentor when I was in college and undergrad. I didn't have a mentor. I just had me. I've had Florence Johnson, but I didn't have someone that looked at me and said, okay, you the one.
I see the potential in you.
Didn't have that.
You can do this and you can do that. You can be great.
And 90% of the reason why is because I didn't take the initiative to build relationships with people. That's another difference between us and these young folk. These younger folks, this younger generation, they're bold. They want, right? Those who have the heart in the right place, they want. They don't want to play. They want to seek out the best, the best advice, the best guidance, the best mentorships. They want that stuff. You do. I mean, you guys, truth be told, I'm not going to discourage you, but truth be told, y'all, some of y'all don't even need college. You make profits and you make all this financial success just at the hands of your phones. We didn't have that. We didn't know that. We didn't know how to go about and do stuff like that, right? But now come on.
Yeah, some of us went about it a different way.
yes.
It's a little bit different.
Yes, little, but just and going back to Nikita and a whole bunch of other students that have come my way. Again, I don't teach college. I teach opportunity. And with teaching opportunity comes with the harsh question: why are you here?
What's your purpose?
Right?
Where are you trying to go in life?
I don't even sometimes you don't even get to the purpose yet. It's just, why are you here? And you'd be surprised. I had a student tell me the reason why he was here is because he wanted to get out of a 2-bedroom apartment with 7 people living in it.
Get away from
right? And he just wanted a space. He just wanted a bed. He just wanted a bed. That was his reason for coming to Buffalo State, was for convenience. And dreaded going back home because he just didn't have his own shared space. And how do you take a student with that type of survival method, that survival mindset? How do you take a student like that and try to get him to grasp the idea of maybe you should give college a shot? Because he's not here for college. He's here to survive. He's here to live. Oh, but while you're here, you do have to go to class, right? And I mentioned about introverts. He was also an introvert. Like, he didn't go to class. He stayed locked in, right, with the big headphones, right? Headphones like this all day. I know that because I had a call from one of his professors. Hey, Fred, this is such and such. I know you know the student, but he hasn't been here in 2 months.
Wait, why am I getting a call 2 months later, though?
He's like, no, hold on, what do you mean 2 months? He hasn't been there in 2 months. I mean, I don't know what you could do, but, I know you could, I was like, sure. So me being connected, I ended up calling the Residence Life. I was like, yo, can I go over to this person's residence hall real quick and just do a little, check-in, right? So I'll go there. The RA escorts me. She was like, yeah, he just stays in there locked in, man. Like, he don't do nothing. He'll just shower and go and eat, and then he just, I was like, okay, let me in, right? I was like, matter of fact, don't let me in. I'm going to knock. I knock like the feds. I pop, 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 knocked on the door. And he's not answering. Knocked again. Pop, pop, pop. Then I'm kicking the door. Pop, pop, pop. He answered his door. He's like, what? Oh. I said, so this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. And while I did that, I had his professor on FaceTime. I was like, yo, he's right here. He's right here.
Alive and well.
Alive and well. And the student's like, yo, what are you doing? I was like, yo, what are you doing? That's the question. Why are you wasting your time and space? Next thing you know, he sits down and tells me his whole story about how he is one of 7, all right? And he never wanted to really come to college. He was just trying to find a way out. And we talk about opportunity. I was like, okay, so in this instance, we end up having a crucial conversation just about what your future looks like. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? He wanted to move to Miami. He wanted to move to Miami. He wanted to go with his uncle, work in a chain restaurant, do whatever, right? And now he's in Miami, but now he owns the restaurant.
Okay.
Owns a restaurant. I get phone calls. Hey, if you're ever in Miami, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. No, I'm serious. If you ever, no, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm just saying because you help me, and then I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm good. But yeah, it's college. It's changed. It's not the same because it makes or breaks you. And not only that, not everybody needs to go to college. Not everybody needs to go to a 4-year institution, right? Not unless if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? You wanna become that judge. You want to become a veterinarian or a nurse or something like that. Yeah, then
Certain
of course you
fields
got to
go. You
got to put in that work. But if you're going to college and you're going to college because you want to be a cop, not necessarily you don't necessarily have to do that. Or you want to go to college and you want to create that business. Not necessarily. And this is realistic expectations. There's some folks just go to a 2-year. I don't have no problems with a 2-year college. I know more students that went to a 2-year and came out with high paying jobs than anybody that has come out 4 years. In fact, I know more students that came out of a 4-year college and struggled more than students that went to community colleges. So I don't have a problem with that. I'm like Barack Obama. I promote it. Like, hey, okay, 2-year colleges, that might be a thing, But if you come to a 4-year, that means that you have thought about what that future looks like, the career choice, right? I have a goddaughter now that's at Buffalo State. She's going for photography, right? And I had to have do you need a 4-year? Yes, I do. She mapped it all out for me. I was like, oh, okay, you got a plan. Mm-hmm. No problem. I got a problem with students that don't have a plan, and that's a lot of them.
Well, I mean, there's reasons for that.
Indeed, but when we get these students, see that the pressure is on us because we have to, well, not we, I don't, but the intent is to sell them into college. But when you sell people college, the problem is that they never leave because that's all they know. Mm-hmm. That becomes their safe haven. You don't talk about what comes after college or what the end of the tunnel is. When you keep on talking about college, that's all they know. And now they want to stay. Maybe I should get a master's. Maybe I should get a second master's. I know one of my frat brothers was in school for 20 years.
Yeah, that's great.
For what? I'm like, what degree are you getting that is worth 20 years of your time? And this is after your bachelor's. What are you doing?
That's for some, but I think, part of that, well, not part of that, but the other piece is something we talk about a lot because, we see these graduation rates and how students of color, specifically males of color, do compared to, their other counterparts in school. And it's like, how do we get more, especially black males or black and brown boys across that college finish line? Because there aren't, 15 Fred Gilberts on these SUNY campuses and private universities.
But you don't need that.
We might not need 15, but I'm going to push back a little bit because when there's just that one or that two, those one or two can often get overwhelmed by the need from those students on those campuses.
It's a lot of conditioning, man. Like you have to uncondition the conditioned, right? You have to re-educate, those who already come in with a mindset that about what college is, what is presumed to be, You made a point about having more folks like us on the campus and, engaging and directing and mentoring and all that stuff. But a lot of that comes already by choice. You have to be willing to do that. You got to be willing to subject yourself to being guided because you don't know. You don't know what this college thing is about. You don't know what this college thing is. So, you can't come in thinking that you know it already. That's the problem. A lot of students come in and They know. They're experts. I know how to do this.
Or they don't know.
Or they,
Because some of them really don't know.
But we know. We know they don't know. We know they don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you have to, I mean, the game don't change just the players. I thought I knew, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you got to play that game. You got to give them their time and their space. You got to let them fall sometimes. And when they fall, it's not about the person that is willing to lend a hand. It's about the person that's willing to get in that hole with you and push you up. Those are the folks that save lives. Anybody can lend a hand, right? But that hand can only outstretch for so long, But it's about those folks that get in that pit with you, cry with you, and then look at you and say, "You ready to go now? Let's get you up and push you up."
I hold you accountable every step of the way.
Yeah, man. So, yeah. So my advice to you, young sir, you go to college, man, because you're going to be challenged academically. And this question of, man, do I really want to do this? Like, is this really what I want to do? Like you get into this phase where things are uncertain, you doubt yourself, but if you...
Yeah, that usually happens first 4 or 5 weeks, or after you get that first graded paper back and you thought you knocked it out the park and you found out that you didn't.
Yeah, man. Because the reality is, to some people, very, very small. Academics is easy. They can transition and be like, "Oh, this work is nothing." But a large majority, right? Not so much. And when you go from high school to college, you feel it. You know it. What are some of your biggest anxieties about college?
Mostly just the finance, and other than that, I'm just trying to mentally prepare just for the amount of workload that I'm going to have to tackle, while also trying to balance having a job, because I do want to work while I'm on campus. So it's just trying to come up with that balance with everything.
What advice would you give Xavier in regards to what he just said? Since that you just completed, and you've been awfully quiet today.
Yes, sir.
So,
tell me something.
In terms of finance, really look at scholarships. I didn't really do that much. I was HOP. I didn't really have to do that. Sorry.
Don't get mad. Don't get mad.
I did have to pay a student bill that ran up close to $3,000 some semesters.
But what's the crazy thing about HOP is that they get more money. They get way more money. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I was working a lot, and you gotta find some type of work that you can do, and it would be, I would say, you would have enough free time to do your schoolwork and work and get paid, and hop on a work study too. And that alone, along with school, will consume up your time, and you just shot. And
sound like time management to me.
And even with you guys know some of the stuff I do outside of that, it's just even more. So really time management. Find that, and don't get sucked into a job that, money's money, but really find that job that you need that would help you do the work for school while you're still making money. I feel like that's more important because because it's you'll go to Amazon in a warehouse, and it's just you're not doing any schoolwork. You're there for
just
a couple hours stacking boxes.
Right. Trust
By
me,
the time you get home, you're too tired to do anything, and then you're hungry, and then and then you're spending more money than you actually gained in the long run. But that'd be my recommendation. And be wise with just live broke. Just be. So just be broke.
Live within your means, brother.
Just be broke.
If that means you gotta eat ramen noodles, you gotta eat ramen noodles. Ain't no problem. No problem. Time management, huge.
They know that's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Yeah.
Huge, man, because you don't have mom or dad or grandma, whoever is sitting there waking you up. You got your own alarm clock. I always say the biggest drug that students get addicted to in college is freedom. Freedom. Because you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what that's like, right? Because right now, you still have restrictions. You know, you still have mom or somebody would tell you, up, you got to do this. Up, don't forget this. When you were in college, it's all on you.
Especially when you're living on campus.
All on you. Because there's going to be those moments. Let it snow let it snow in Albany. Let it snow. And you're going to be, and you got a 9 o'clock, class, and you're like, oh, nah, I ain't doing it. you know, but don't beat yourself up for it either. You know, because that's just a part of the experience. Just don't do too much. College is about balance, man. You know, it is. Find those internships, those paid assistantships that contribute towards your degree. Right? I think that's key too.
All right.
Because you don't want to just get a job working somewhere. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But if you can, and if you can help it, find a job that is going to contribute towards the end goal. Get an internship in someone's political office. We have the what is that? The Capitol right there, right? A whole bunch of politicians there, whole bunch of connections, you know, and a lot of that comes with you building rapport and relationships with your department. Because the truth be told, students don't really talk to their teachers that much about internships or opportunities anymore. They don't. Teachers, wealth of knowledge, but they're not going to give it to you unless you ask. And not only do you ask, but it's who's asking, right? Because if it's somebody's just like, hey, I need a job, okay, that's fine. Burger King down the street, boom, right? But if you say, hey, sir, listen, like, you know, my goal is this. I want to get here. And I think you have the resources for me to get there, right? Who do I talk to, or can you point me in a direction in which I can get there? Teachers be like, what? Hold on, what are you doing tomorrow at such and such? They might invite you somewhere, and next thing you know, you get a job right on the spot. It's happened. Thing is that students don't do it because students don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to build relationships. They're too busy like this, right? Or behind a screen. You got to get out there, you know? Like it or not, but you guys, it's your turn.
Yeah, because we getting old, bro. As much as I hate to say it, and I'm in denial about it, we getting old. So, yeah. That's time. I mean, y'all kind of doing it already, but yeah.
And you are, man. You are. So that would be my advice. Have fun, enjoy the experience. You're gonna have experiences, but stay the course. Stay focused.
Got it.
Stay focused, because freedom will throw you off track, but it's about the get back. How can you get back on course? Yeah, that's my testament and my jewels for you.
All right.
Right? It's just staying on course.
I feel like he just gave you $1 million worth of game right here.
Absolutely.
Straight up.
Really appreciate it.
Course, man. Oh, I mean, absolutely. And then you, what are you doing after?
Well, this book coming out, working on my third one, and then for me,
You said
I
that
might be
so
looking at it.
casually.
Yeah, I'm working on this book. And
you working on this book. You just gonna slide that in there and not expand upon it, and then you talking about the third one. Can we hear about the first one?
Okay, the first one. Okay. Speak, young brown people speak. We are listening. You'll see Alberta Lampkin's like her on the title, front page, and front cover, and then like about 16 or so people on the back of it. I'm one of them. I'm a co-author of that, along with a lot of young ladies and young guys from like North Carolina, New York, New Jersey, somewhere from down south. I don't know specifically where, but yeah. So I'm meeting Alberta. I've had the opportunity to really push the book I've been working on for about 6 years, since like 11th grade. It is a book of poetry. Like it is free verse, spoken word, haikus, which are Japanese poems, for those of you who don't know. And then back in around the summertime, I've decided to add in like short moral stories, examples of my life. And they are really mostly examples of my life, but also looking in perspective of others and their eyes. And so it's called Thoughts of a Creativity King and 114 Realities. And those are 114 pieces of work I've had into this book I'm putting out. So not done yet, but I estimate within about a month and a half or so it'll be out to get. And this next one is I call it a book of advice. I don't have a proper title for it yet, but it's me like trying to work through philosophy that I've learned in school, like with a philosophy minor, using your degree to kind of, so philosophy, moral and ethics, and trying to incorporate that in a way to talk about opportunity or to talk about progress and achieving missions and making mistakes and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get that together now, and I've been working on that, like 9 pages so far. So that's what I'm working. So that's the book portion of it right now.
I'm just in awe. Y'all don't understand. I knew this young man, and he only spoke 10 words out of all the years that I've known him. And now he's just writing books. Like he's writing books. Like, yeah, I give you props, brother.
Man, listen, it's not just me; it's a village.
Because man, like, wow, such a scholar, man. And you do poetry?
Yeah, I've done it since 10th grade.
So 10,000. 10,000. Bianca.
I don't think you've met 10,000 yet. Have you met 10,000 yet?
Oh man, we need to connect. We need to connect you and, because there's a whole poetry circuit around here. Heavy,
Yeah.
You know Jillian?
I've heard of the name.
Yeah.
I've probably seen
you
before, but yeah, I don't think I've.
Yeah, those are some connections we need to make.
Outside of that, finding some work to do. I'm looking at CT Bank and financial advisor for Equitable Advisor. I'm not trying to like promote anything, but
you are like a man of many hats.
So I've been looking at that, and maybe I'll leave that out. But yeah, so stacking up some cash to go on play with money in real estate and investing a little bit more, learning about that, and I know someone I can work with to do more like construction, or not so much construction, but like development, like building development and all that stuff. So I'm gonna explore that a little bit too. Or, I'm gonna need you in like a couple of years. But so I've been trying to really get my goals out the way. We all make 5-year plans and whatnot. So college was one of them. The book was one of them. Around the time I really hoped it would be. So it's on my track for that. And just reaching wealth. So that's the last of the 5-year plan I got.
Wow.
If I don't push y'all to the finish line, we'll be here all night. So before we wrap this thing up, is there anything burning that y'all want to ask Mr. Fred over here?
Oh, how you mentioned the attitude when you were in that office. So how do you, from your perspective and what you've seen from others, how do you develop that attitude to be in college, to desire to get education?
Oh Lord, you done asked a deep question.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but
we're gonna have to bring you back.
Yeah. How do you teach, or how do you develop?
How do you develop? So from your personal experience, well, we'll just keep it at you for now, for time's sake, But like, how do you develop that attitude? Like, how did Mr. Frank develop that attitude for Mr. Fred for education?
I think for one, you have to know that you're important. You have to know that you're significant, that you're here, right? That purpose.
Your life has value.
You have to know that. You have to understand. You have to believe that. And you have to be obsessed with that. knowing that you're here for a reason, and how can you truly contribute not only to your industry, but to life itself? How can I be of service to someone else? And what chains, what avenues, what direction do I need to take to get there, right? So it's kind of like I've been battling with trying to go back to school for a doctor. I've been pro, I've been against, but now it's got to a point where it's like, yeah, I have to go. Why? Because I have goals. But not only that, there's a table that I want to seat at, right? And this table is an important one because it helps to promote and to be decisive in decision making. And those decisions, those choices, those options affect my people, right? And for many times, we have been invited to the table, but we can't sit at it. We could just stand there, regardless of whatever your credentials are, right? Yep. And we really can't contribute towards whatever movements that we want to do. I don't want your seat at the table. I'm bringing my own seat. I'll build my own table. Y'all come over here. Because, there are things, even though we're getting older, but there are things that have to be done before our time is done. Agreed. There's things that we have to do before, we can say, okay, job well done. You know what I'm saying? And in order for me to get there, a choice has to be made, right? Yep. You had to make a choice that you going to Canisius, getting this type of degree. That was a choice, and you had to be firm and solid on it. You choosing to go to college seems like that is a choice that you're strongly convicted and you want to be there, right? Same thing with you, right? Battling back with this option of going to school and all that other stuff. There's going to come a time where you're really, 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 really going to have to decide on whether or not that's something that you want to do. Because not everybody needs that to be successful. But for where I want to go, and the things that I want to do, and to get in those kind of rooms with those certain people, and to shake and shatter and to deconstruct and to rebuild up, the things that I want to see happen, I got to have these credentials. It's kind of like Jay-Z. Jay-Z can get into these rooms. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't have a lick of education, but he has intellect, he has business, he has experiences, right?
That's a mentality.
And because he's going into these rooms, he's shaking things. Yeah. I need to be in that room. Like, I'm tired of being outside of it and trying to impact change or affect change on the outside. No, I got to be in there. Because that's where I belong. When my brother graduated, I had a premonition. I don't know how spiritual you are or whatever like that, but I had a premonition. God showed me, right? He showed me a nameplate with a doctorate regalia. And all I heard was, go get it. Okay. Enough for me. Battling back and forth, 5 years, whatever, battling back and forth. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. All I needed was that. And what comes with it comes with it. But I just know that there is the intrinsic, which I have plenty of, because I know why I want to do it. Mm-hmm. But it was always the extrinsic. Mm-hmm. How do you want to operate? In what capacity? What seat? Where? Right? What do you want to do? I got the why. It's the how. Yeah. Right? And now that I have the how, it's time to execute. It's time to break down those barriers. It's time. Divine timing, brother. Divine timing, man. And when it happens, And when you execute, you have full enthusiasm. You just be like, okay, I know what I got to do. That's it.
Speaking of knowing things, there's a couple things I want to know before we go.
Sure.
So we usually do this segment where we kind of put our guests on the hot seat.
Okay, let's go.
So we're gonna ask you some random questions.
Randoms.
Super random questions.
Okay.
We all gonna take part in this.
All right.
So I need your Mount Rushmore
Oh.
hip hop.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Now, top 5 or top 3? Top what? Mount Rushmore. What are we doing? 5?
4.
4? 4. Okay. I'm gonna start with 4. LL Cool J.
Okay.
Why? Because LL Cool J made it cool to rap to the ladies. Right? Change. He just made it cool. 3. 3, I would say DMX. DMX brought spirituality to, he gave it a spirit. Outside of all the other right? But I found myself more often than not listening to his prayers rather than the songs. So I would say X. Number 2, this is a battle. Number 2, I would
Don't disappoint me.
Okay.
Fred, this rapid fire, baby. This rapid fire.
Okay. All right. Number two. I'm gonna say Big. 1, I'm going with Hove.
Okay, we good. I'm staying hip hop and then I'm gonna go to y'all. Y'all do what y'all gonna do.
1, I'm going with Hove. Yeah.
All right. Now we got that one out the way. I'm happy.
Okay. All right. Okay.
No, I mean your 4 is your 4. I gotta respect it either way go because it's your 4.
Yeah.
Who's in heavy rotation for you right now?
Right now, heavy rotation. What's the last album that I would say that I've listened to? I would say Kendrick right now. Kendrick.
I gotta give it a listen. I didn't listen to it yet.
I would say Kendrick. Like I've been. That's an acquired taste.
It is because that's what I keep hearing too.
It's an acquired taste. Like you need like at least 5 times to like really, So
Okay.
Kendrick right now is like on the heavy rotation, but like on a consistent basis, I'm like all into 2000 music, man. Like where we were.
I'm the same way.
Saying? So like I still listen to. I was just listening to the Ludacris album. His first one. I was just listening to that. I was listening to the Fab.
Oh man, you really in a place.
Yeah. I was listening to the Fab. I was listening to the Carter 2.
Oh yeah, you in a place.
Lil Wayne. I was listening to the Carter 2, and I was just yesterday I was listening to the Black Album with Jay.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, Jay and Nas are always in rotation for me.
Brother, that's why I was battling. I was like, no, I was about.
I can't front. Nas has definitely been in rotation for me hard because he dropped 3 back to back.
What you think about his last album?
I loved it. I loved all 3 of them. Like I'm sitting here like, all right, KD3 on the way. Where's that?
Yes, yes.
And part of me is like, Jay, I need you to drop something because Nas is like,
but he's in the lab.
He creeping right now.
Hov is in the lab.
I heard.
He's in the lab. The song that I like with him and Nas is the joint with Khaled. Sorry, not sorry. I played that song at least 100 times throughout the course of the week. I was like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air compared to all this. I'm just like, what is that? Like, I don't know. You listen to that? You probably listen to that.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. So you listen to 2000 music like us? Okay.
To be honest, I'm more old school.
Oh.
Here we go.
Define old school.
I blame your brother for this.
I mean, anything that's
Just
not.
want you to know, I blame your brother for this.
We're not within the 2010 decade. Anything like before that, I would consider old school.
Okay. So name an artist. Go.
Oh.
You listen to him. Name an artist. You're in the hot seat.
Oh, correct. Come on. Okay, listen. I'm not
How'd you let him flip that on you like
I
this?
don't know. I don't know how this happened.
You're supposed to be in
You
control
gotta
right
reflip
now.
it. You gotta reflip it.
I don't know how to
Flip it back. And just so you know, Pusha T is having a rotation for me right now.
Oh yeah. Did you know what? I didn't give that a listen yet.
See, me, I gotta
give
give
that
Kendrick a listen.
You know what messed me up with Pusha T?
What?
When Drake did that to him. When Drake did that to them, that just changed everything. I was just like, oh, Push, why you let him do that to you?
Oh, you talking about Churchill Down?
Why did Drake, like, why?
But it sounded old though. You talking about the Churchill Downs joint?
Yes, but I'm also talking about back to back. I'm just like, oh, Drake.
That wasn't Push on back to back though.
No. Listen, when Drake murdered, I was just, okay, all right, okay.
You saying Drake murdered Push?
That one song?
Oh, Fred, we gotta talk offline.
That one song?
Dude.
Yo, I was just like, okay, but yeah, we can talk about that offline.
Yeah, we gotta talk about offline. Yeah, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all get in here, round robin.
All right, I got a sports question. Actually, 2 sports questions.
Oh boy, be careful.
All right, so first and
Be
foremost,
careful. Be careful.
who's your favorite football team? I don't like that look.
Born and raised in Buffalo.
Okay, we good.
Okay, good.
Enough said.
That's all.
Yes.
All right, that's all I need to know. Just about who's your favorite player?
And football?
Oh, well, I'm assuming you say you were born and raised in Buffalo. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so we are talking about the right team, right?
The Bills.
Okay, very
Yes,
good. Very
the
good.
Bills. Yes, Bills. He is not. Okay, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No, we're not. Okay, but yes, the Bills. My favorite. My favorite Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, player.
Currently or in the past, overall?
Oh, overall.
All time.
All time.
My favorite of all time. Bruce Smith comes into mind.
We said one. Look, you better give us.
Yeah, Bruce. Yeah, Bruce, like it. Maybe because he was just over there. So
Y'all thinkers, man. You were y'all thinkers, man.
Bruce, Andre Reed. But I think the best is yet to come. I think Josh Allen's about to.
Oh, Josh, that boy already.
I think Josh is about to take it to.
About to go crazy.
Josh is that boy.
Let him bring a Super Bowl. You're cemented. It's over. You're golden. You don't have to pick. You can go anywhere you want in Buffalo. No one is touching you.
All right, I'm about to mess you up.
Okay.
MJ, Kobe, LeBron.
Here we go. MJ, Kobe, LeBron. That's it. In order or out of like
Pick one.
MJ? Come on, stop playing.
Okay, as long as you had Kobe number 2, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, MJ, Kobe, LeBron, but MJ, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, because we go back and forth to this all the time.
I know. Right? Maybe we should have had him on the podcast.
Kobe.
You know, that was my boy.
Yes. Kobe was a smaller version of MJ with better footwork.
More skilled, in my opinion. T-Mac said on the podcast with somebody. I feel like Kobe was more skilled.
I can't really give him that because
He copied MJ, but I think he was more skilled.
Most greats steal.
Yeah.
Right? Kobe stole. Like Kobe was in a lab with Akeem Olajuwon asking him, how do you do that footwork in the post?
Yeah.
How do you do that, right? How do you do the pivot and this and that? And I'll never forget the All-Star game with him and MJ trading shots, and Kobe is just like, yo, how do you do this? What do you do? What do you do with this?
I give Kobe the nod there because I feel like Jordan was more naturally gifted athletically, whereas Kobe really had to, he wasn't as athletic as MJ, but I definitely think skill-wise.
I'm going to tell you why Kobe probably had more skill, and this is no knock on Jordan, of course, because Jordan is that
GOAT.
But Kobe has small hands. For him to do all of that with small hands takes a lot of skill. Jordan made a basketball look like a baseball.
Yeah, huge.
Huge hands. So Jordan would jump in the air, manipulate the ball, and that takes a lot of, grip, right? Yep. Takes big hands to do. Jordan's the only person I ever saw that could manipulate a shot in midair twice. Like the famous
Yeah.
You know this?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, I don't know anybody that can really replicate that. That Jordan is like a one of one. It's a one of one.
All right, Dorian, you going food? You hitting them with the food ones?
I had a different approach.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
You know, so what or who is your biggest motivation for anything that you do?
Another one. Biggest motivation to do what I do?
Yeah, anything.
What
Just
or
anything.
who?
What or who is the biggest motivation for what you do?
Death.
Here we go.
Death.
Oh,
Death.
okay.
You're talking to a man that almost died twice. Should have been dead
We
twice.
need a part two.
Yeah, definitely.
Death. You know, because it's only by the grace of him that I am here talking to you. Right? And in me talking with you, like it's just like a resurgence. It's just like you know, like you just feel empowered. You feel purposeful. You feel like there's so much that you have to do. You know, after getting a second and a third chance. You know, so yeah, I'll say that.
All right. That's all I got. All right. That was like 2 questions worth. I don't know.
Pizza or wings?
Pizza or wings?
Pizza or wings?
Wings.
Okay.
I'll go wings.
Best wings in Buffalo where? Matter of fact, I think we getting wings tonight. Okay.
Oh man. Duff's.
Oh, Fred. You could do better than that. Fred. Fred.
I don't think so.
You about to have me do you like Shannon do Skip. Fred. Come on, Fred. Fred.
No, okay. I only say that because I just had him. I just had him.
Nah, I mean, it's your pick. I respect him.
But I mean, ask me another question. That was a bad one.
Nah.
That was
It's on record. You said Duff's.
Yeah,
It's okay.
that was a bad one. Yeah. Don't take my card, y'all. Don't do that. Don't do that. I just had him. I'm sorry.
All right, this is my last one. Then I swear we wrapping up because Charles done gave me that look like 10 times. He been holding up hand signs, numbers, like. I think it was really just throwing up 2 for it, which I can respect. So, if you had to pick an actor to portray your life in a movie, who would it be? As he laughs hysterically.
Actor to portray me? Oh man, I never thought of that. I'm an actor to portray me, not me portraying them. Oh man, you gotta give me that's part 2. I'm stumped. Damn.
Oh,
To portray me? Oh God, I would need somebody average height. Oh, Ice Cube son. Ice Cube son. Yeah, man. Ooh. I need somebody with gravitas. Like somebody who, you know what I mean? Because I done had some moments in my life. Oh man, I'm stuck. You got me. I'm stuck. What about you?
oh man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be the only one that's gonna be stuck. I ain't gonna
Portray me in a movie?
portray you in a movie.
I don't know. I've never thought about it, and I ask this question often. I don't know. I know Denzel's my favorite actor, but I don't know if.
You know the guy that portrays him on the gram. He's the heavyset guy with the locks. He does him so well. I'm gonna show you offline. He does him so well. It's like you're literally like listening to Denzel.
Yeah.
With the mannerisms and all that. What about Will Smith?
I love Will. He's one of my favorite actors too.
You don't think he could do you? Play your part?
I think Will could play any part that he wanted to.
Honestly, I do see Will Smith like playing you.
You do?
Yes.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah, Will Smith.
It's interesting. You calling me soft?
Oh no.
Because you know that's the perception that Will has right now that he's soft.
Yeah, don't
So he
worry,
starts
man.
slapping people, but we ain't gonna go there. That's for another time.
I got somebody for me.
For who, you?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Give me a young Lawrence Fishburne.
I can see that.
Young Lawrence Fishburne with some fire, some flair. Cause
We talking about deep cover Lawrence Fishburne?
yeah. Give me like higher learning. No, give me higher learning mixed with like school days.
I can see that. The higher learning,
Right.
especially with you being in
Yeah, give me that.
higher ed.
Yeah, give me that.
Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood, Lawrence Fishburne. I can see you right now with this.
And I got him too. And I got him in my office. I'll be up there like looking at waiting for these students, man, trying to de-escalate.
Give me the gun tray.
Talking people down. That's what I listen. I got a story real quick. I got a story about that too. So I had a student who was a DJ on campus. And I saved his life one day. The feds came on campus. Feds came on campus with the dogs. So it was the FBI, local police, campus police, and they came with a warrant for his arrest. Got a phone call from one of the university police officers that I know. Fred, do you know this student? I do. Why are you calling me about him? Fred, in about 10 minutes, we have a warrant to raid his apartment for this, and this. I need for you to talk to him. Not only that, Fred, is he worth it? I said, worth? Yes, he is. Fred, I need for you to run interference. Go now. I go to his residence hall. He opens the door. Thank goodness. Opens the door, right? And he has activity going on. And I'm like, I need for you to get out now. He's like, yo, what's good? What's going on? I was like, you have 9 minutes to clear everything out right now. He's like, why? Why you say that? I said, because them boys is coming for you right now. How you know? I showed him. I was like, this person just called me. You got 8 minutes. Get your stuff and go somewhere now. 8 minutes pass. Here they come. Here they come. This man moved like Quicksilver, moved, right? So then I get another phone call from this cop. And he said, Fred, is he worth saving? I say, of course he is. He's like, Fred, I have the power and I have the authority right now to call off this investigation.
Wow.
I have it right now. Is he worth saving? Yes, he is. He is. It's like, why? I said, because he's just like you. He's just like you. And you know your story. He's just like you. He's just like me. It's like, only difference is that I had nobody try to save me. So there it is, right? So I say all that to say this. He came back that next day filled with gratitude. Then he sits there and he tells me, he's like, listen, I do this and I do that because he's like, yo, my mom got evicted out of her apartment. I'm taking care of my little brother and my little sister. And I'm listening to all this. I said, all that is good, but I need for you to change your life, bro. I need for you to change your life. And not only that, take this with you. Because I had to go upstairs and I had to check him out of his residency. In doing so, and I found something. I was like, you need this. You need to take this and disperse of it. Right? And I was like, listen, you want to do me a favor? Change your life, bro. Because this is gonna happen again. And if it happens again, I'm not gonna be there to help you. So now what does he do? He's a professional DJ, travels the world. Not only did he graduate, but now he has his own company and he travels the world and DJs. That is a working professional. People who see the potential and see the danger and they protect it. They protect them from harming themselves. That's why I love the Boys and Girls Club. Because the Boys and Girls Club had an opportunity to protect those kids. Not only protect them and shield them, but to show them their potential. And I get to do the same thing in EOP. Working on a college campus on any capacity. That's why I'm going back to college. Because now there's a higher calling. There's a higher purpose. And it's to be in those rooms with those people. Because those people don't understand. They never do. They don't understand us. They can't empathize. The only thing that they can do is change their ways. And how you do that, you got to shatter their world. So that's what I'm going to do.
I'm looking forward to you shattering these worlds, these boardrooms.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I'm going to come with this table and be like, here you go. Yeah, but definitely.
Thanks, man. I'm going to let you close us out, man.
All right.
Fred, I appreciate you being here today, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Seriously.
All right, guys, once again, and big thanks to you for coming on here, just dropping so much great knowledge on us. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the college advice, because I'm going to need a lot of it, so I really appreciate you for that. So we got D-Rob, a.k.a. Daniel Robinson, Mr. Philosopher, and current college graduate, Dorian Woodrow. And once again, we got Freddie Gilmore. That's all we got.
Gilbert.
Oh, my bad. Gilbert.
Yes.
My bad.
That's fine.
But that's all we got for you today. Thank you for everyone who always supported our podcast. And just before we close out, we just want to give a quick shout out to the incident that just happened 2 weeks ago. Well, almost going on 2 weeks ago. That happened a couple of blocks from us. The shooting that took place on Tobbs. We're just praying for the victims and anyone who was affected by that tragedy. We're just praying for God covering over our city. So that's all we got for you today. And again, stay safe out there and have a nice night.
Peace.
Peace.
Rock out.